Hello and welcome back once again. We are going to be looking at fractions with models and number lines and how you can turn these models into number lines the correct way. So we're going to start off with number 10. Explain. Malik shows a fraction using the model below. Okay, because it doesn't tell me what my fraction is for this model, the first thing I want to do is find out what the fraction is. So if I was to count all the little squares, I'm going to get 8. And that's going to become my denominator because that is the total amount of equal parts I have. Now I'm going to look at the shaded. And I know that's just one less than 8, so I can put 7 as my numerator. So I know my fraction is 7 over 8. Amira wants to model the same fraction on a number line. She says that point A shows the same fraction as Malik's model. Amira says that A is 7/8. Is she correct? Explain why or why not. Okay. Some of you are going to count right away how many equal parts there are, and you're going to go, okay, there's 8 equal parts, and she's at 7, so that's 7/8. Okay, she's correct. Hold your horses. I'm about to show you why she is not correct. We have these big old numbers right here, and those represent whole numbers. So before counting every single space in between to see how many equal parts you have, you need to look within each whole number to see how many you have in total. So we're going to count them and I'm going to walk you through it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I know this one is 4 over 4 because that's how many equal parts I have and how many it took to get there. So I know if I go backwards, that's going to be 3 over 4. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest because we're just working backwards, and you know before 3, it is 2, and so on and so forth. Now that I'm at my 1, I'm like, okay, my next tick mark. What could it be? Well, it's not just going to turn into 8s. It's still going to have a 4 as the denominator. So I'm going to continue to write 4s as my denominator. And I'm going to continue on counting. So now I have 5 over 4, 6 over 4, 7 over 4, and 8 over 4. Now I kind of covered where A was, so I'm going to go ahead and put a different color. So this is where she's saying 7/8 is. Well, since we correctly used our number line and actually figured out how they're divided, knowing that it's not in eighths, it's in fourths, I know 7/8 and 7/4 is not the same, because also realize that this is not completely filled in. There is no whole number. So we shouldn't be going past this 1 right here. Amira says that A is 7/8. Is she correct? Explain why or why not. So we're going to say Amira is not correct. She put 7/4 as the answer on her number line. She made this mistake because she counted all the spaces instead of counting the spaces between each whole number listed. All that's saying is what I just told you up front, where I was like, oh, hey, look at those whole numbers. We need to count in between those before we count all of them. Okay, so do not rush these because that's an really easy mistake to make. Be aware of any whole numbers, or if you're told to list any, make sure you put those first because those will be great reminders. 11. Demonstrate. Use the number line below to show the fraction 4/6. All right, just like I said, make sure you see the whole numbers before you do anything. Luckily for us, they have the whole number at the end, so I know 6/6 because I'm looking at my denominator, and I know to make a whole number, the same number is going to be on top and on the bottom. 6 is my max. So 1 equals 6/6. Knowing that, because I personally like to work backwards, you don't have to work backwards. You can start from 0 and go on. I just like to start backwards because I like to make my fractions go lower and lower and lower because I have an ending point. I know my starting point is going to be 1, but I like to start at the end. So I'm going to put my next one, and that is going to be 5/6 because I'm going backwards. I put another one that's going to be 4/6. And it's only asking me to show where 4/6 is, but that doesn't mean I should stop at 4/6. I need to finish it, so now I'm going to put 3. And my number line is not perfect, and I don't expect JAWS to look perfect either. I know it's kind of hard to do this on a computer to make them all equal parts, and I mean, you just got to do what you got to do on here. Now I can look at 4/6, and that's where it's going to be. Now it's going to ask us how you knew where to label 4/6. It's a tricky question. It's there on purpose to confuse you, but this is what we're going to put. I divided the whole into 6 equal parts. I counted 4 parts to find 4/6. Illustrate. Use the number line below to show that there are 8 eighths in one whole. Now, some of y'all are probably like, what in the world did she just read to me? Well, this is why it's good to back it up and underline, highlight, or even take every word apart to figure out exactly what they're asking of you. So I'm a highlighter or an underliner, depending whatever's in my hand. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the keywords and what keywords you want to look out for. Use the number line. Okay, well, the number line is obviously below. So I'm just going to highlight it because I know they want me to mark it on a number line. To show that there are 8 eighths in one whole. Okay, 8 eighths. There is a reason why I've been saying fractions a certain way, because of situations like this. So if you've been following along with that vocabulary, you know that first number is going to be on top. It's going to be your numerator. And that eighths is going to be on the bottom. Looky here. We have a number on top and on the bottom that are the same. So that is telling me that is one whole. And they also said it right afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and on my number line, label this one as 8/8. I know I need 8 equal parts in total on this number line. I can also go backwards or forwards to fill in the rest of my number line. So for this one, I'm going to start at the beginning since I did the other one backwards. So I know this is going to be 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. The reason I didn't label mine as I went is because just in case because it is really hard to write on these documents electronically. I could just simply erase it if I needed to. But since my tick marks are already there, I can go ahead and label it now. So I have 7/8, 6/8, and now I'm going backwards just because of where I started. But you can go forwards if you want, and you can label them as you go, whatever works for you. I'm not trying to tell you the way you should do this. Everybody has their own technique and what works best for them. Working backwards works best for me. So if you like doing it this way, go ahead. So after I label all of them, that is all I had to do. And number 12 is done. Now today, you're going to do one on your own. I'm going to have it as a Google slide. If you want to use Cami to edit it, that is fine. Also, on Google Slides, I'm going to give you a number line and you can stretch it out, make it smaller, and I'm going to give you the parts you need to fill it in. So the tick marks, you're going to put the tick marks where they need to be, and they're going to be all on one side. You're going to have a Z, a J, and you're going to put those Z's and J's for the people and what they're asking you to do with them.